Alrighty, y'all, we're here with Mike C. Berry and his show Urbanscape. We're gonna ask Mike a couple of questions this morning about his art, his influence, and some other things. All right, Mike, so how long have you been painting, and what drew you to start making art?
Okay. Well, I've been kind of drawing as long as I can remember. As a child, my mother would give me, it would appear out of her purse, so like a sketchbook and pencil or pen, and I would keep busy. She would keep me still by sketching. So as long as I can remember, but painting, I started painting about 1987. High school was introduced to painting and started painting things around me. And then I've been painting professionally since 97. And it's taken different turns, as a lot of things do, and I've tried different things, but painting the world around me is kind of what I've settled in on.
So speaking about the world around you, what sort of drew you to start making the Knoxville scenery or depicting the Knoxville scenery?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty simple answer. I'm attracted to the Urbanscape, which is the title of my work right now. I've always been drawn to the city and the city life and buildings. I guess my younger days, I grew up kind of in a rural setting. So as I started developing as an artist, as a young person, I moved to the city, and that started sort of a love affair with cafes and streets and cars and those kinds of things. So really, it's Knoxville is just where I am. I think if I lived in Memphis, I would primarily do Memphis. But I do a lot of other cities that I don't show in Knoxville. That when I'll go and visit and be in another city and experience another city, I usually paint or do something from those inspirations of that. So the short answer is that I paint Knoxville because I love Knoxville and I live here.
Nice. So a lot of there are a few pieces in the show that are very different from works we've had from you before.
Yeah.
We've got some skylines, some aerial shots. So we talk about the influence that brought those different pieces about.
Well, I've always, like I said before, I've always been influenced just by your interaction with the city, walking, driving through the city. But it was an airplane ride, basically. I took a trip, and I think I left at night. And being primarily a cityscape painter of night scenes, seeing the city from the air gave me a whole new perspective. And so I just thought, this is sort of it's kind of the cityscape abstracted a little bit, because if you don't really know what you're looking at, all the shapes are very organic, and so it was just a different viewpoint that I thought, I'm going to try this. And so I did a series of aerials just at the city from above. So, and I've taken that, to a point where, I'll move on to something else. But it's just really just a change in perspective. Nice.
So with the pieces you've brought to the show, we have a lot of different materials that were used. So can you talk about material use a little bit with these?
Sure. Of course, my first love is probably charcoal and pastel mainly, and that's where I really started the painting process. Pastel, I went from, of course, kind of the natural progression when you're learning, drawing in black and white, and then move to color with pastel. So I love pastel and its immediacy and the color change. And then later, I started dabbling in oil and acrylic. And so I kind of that's my buffet of choice right now. It's usually pastel, acrylic, and oil. And a lot of times I'll do the acrylic and pastel, sometimes together. Sometimes an acrylic underwash and then a pastel finish. But mostly pastels are my mode of communication through art.
Nice. All right, and then a little different question. Can you talk about balancing family life, running downtown gallery, and then creating your own artwork on top of all of that?
I was thinking about that question on the way in, and just a lot of things that I won't get into, but it's a delicate balance. And really what I tell younger artists is schedule time for making your art, because what I found in my experience is when you say, I will take care of family, or I will take care of this, I will take care of that, and it's a part of me, it'll just naturally come out. Well, it'll naturally get X'd out because everything else will bid for its time, and it'll suck it and take it away from you. And so I tell younger artists, and I have to constantly tell myself, you've got to schedule time to get in, turn your phone off, whatever you need to do, lock the door, and make art, and just do it. And you've got to schedule blocks of time to do it. And so that's how I manage. I have to block off time because I am busy. Like you said, I'm a gallery manager. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an artist. And so it comes down to your personal priority list, how you stack that up. But the main thing as an artist is you have to schedule time. It doesn't just happen.
Fantastic. Mike, thank you so much for coming by today. Mike's art is going to be up on our wall here at Rala through November, and we're going to be getting some new pieces in this week. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.